A high-profile political career generates a massive volume of data. For public figures, that information can be mapped, graphed, and analyzed to reveal internal patterns. Pierre Trudeau is a prime example. From the moment he became prime minister at age 48, his life became a matter of absolute public record. We have a granular account of his travels, his policy shifts, and his social circle. That documentation includes his high-profile dating life. It is a matter of record, for instance, that he dated Barbra Streisand. We also know he was romantically linked to actress Kim Cattrall, along with several other prominent women during his time in office. But a specific pattern emerges when you plot the ages of these partners against his own. As Trudeau aged into his 50s and 60s, the women he dated remained almost entirely in their 20s and 30s. The documentation of these later years is absolute. But the consistency of that age gap creates a mathematical trajectory that extends back into the decades before his rise to national power. To understand what that trajectory implies, we can use a statistical method called back projection. This involves taking a verified trend from a period with dense, accurate data and running the calculation in reverse to estimate behavior from a time before the records began. If we apply this model to Trudeau's known dating history, we can rewind the clock to see who the math suggests he was dating in his youth. If a rigorous statistical model indicates a specific conclusion, we have to decide if calculation can substitute for observation for the periods where the history is silent. This graph shows the midpoint of the couple's ages over time. These black dots represent the average age between Trudeau and his partners for each year a relationship was recorded. By calculating a linear slope through these midpoints, we get this solid green line. Projecting that line backward into the 1940s and 50s provides an estimate for the ages of his partners during his earlier life. Following the dotted orange line, the implied partner age, the trend moves steadily downward. By the time we reach the beginning of the graph, the line is approaching the red dotted baseline at the bottom, which marks age 18. While a linear model suggests a clear downward trend, human behavior is rarely a straight line. As an investigative tool, this simple extrapolation is too limited to be used as evidence. This chart employs a more sophisticated model, a quadratic fit. This solid dark green curve on the right is mapped with high statistical precision to the ages of his verified partners, including Margot Kidder and Kim Cattrall. The results shift significantly when we take this curve and project it backward into the 1940s, the pink zone on the left. The mathematical trajectory crosses below the legal age floor. Based on the behavior established by the known data, the model predicts partners aged 17, 14, and 11. According to the internal logic of the data, these ages are the unavoidable conclusion of the model. However, these calculations ignore a fundamental reality of historical research. This chart identifies the flaw in the extrapolation. Notice the vertical dashed line at 1967. This is the point where the public record of Trudeau's personal life actually begins. To the left of that line, in the shaded no data zone, there are no relationships at all. The data is missing because, at that time, he was not yet a subject of national media scrutiny. A mathematical curve, regardless of its precision, cannot function in a vacuum. It requires a documented historical record to ground its predictions in reality. We are left with a conflict between the certainty of a mathematical graph and a total vacuum of actual evidence from Trudeau's early life. The danger here is treating statistical probability as a replacement for historical fact. Human relationships are too complex to be reduced to a predictive formula. History cannot be retroactively manufactured simply because a trend line suggests a specific outcome. Historical truth is defined by what the record can support: actual physical photographs, legally verified testimonies, and primary source documentation. When we encounter a gap in that record, the temptation to use data to provide an answer is intense. But without a verified record to anchor it, a mathematical model remains a hypothesis, not a fact.